Okay, I had shared dunamis in another video, and that's where we get our word like dynamite and dynamic. Use often in the Greek are turned to wise, kind of like muthos is where we get our word myth, or mysterion is where we get our word mystery. So this is the same thing here. You can almost see it, dynamite, but it's dunamis. So these words right here, it's actually, when it's using this, it's talking about kind of along the same lines as inner in ergos, or ergos, the energy, like when it says it is God who worketh through you both to will and to do his good pleasure, or effectually working. It's translated sometimes like it talks about Satan working through people, and that's the word in ergos, and it's talking about Satan working through people. Like when it's used in like synergy, or sometimes in ergos, it's talking about God working through people. So it's the same here. Dunamis is referring to the power of God. Thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. You can see that in the Lord's Prayer. There at the end, it says, "Thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. In thy name done many wonderful works." And he'll say, "Depart from me, ye who work iniquity." So it's talking about the power of God, and the power of God is something that's little known by people, is the gospel, and the gospel is actually speaking of the cross. So the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. They don't want to hear that they have to be put through tribulation and trials and suffering. But that's exactly what happens. That's what the Bible's speaking of when it's talking about resurrection. Oftentimes people mistakenly think that resurrection is only something that has to do after you literally die, which it is, but we literally die now, like when Paul said we're counted as sheep for the slaughter. So right here when it talks about to them who are saved, it is the power of God, speaking of the resurrection. And up here too, in Romans chapter 1, for it is the power of God, and I can't remember the rest of it, but the power of God is the resurrection, that when Christ is in us, we suffer and we die like Christ does. And on a day-to-day basis, when you tell people about God, I believe that anybody who goes out and tells people about God knows this, that people don't just accept it. And especially when you don't compromise, your family will hate you, or many of your family, unless God has blessed you with a family who believes. But he has blessed you with a family who believes, because other believers are your family. But many people don't believe, so you preaching to them will make them want to separate from you. So these different verses here, and this is the word study concordance. I can't remember these guys' name, by George V. Wigram and Ralph D. Winter. And it's got it all in order of where it appears. So this is dunamis, and these are the different places. It's often translated like power or mighty. I believe it's translated miracle sometimes. But we know, like it says right here, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. And it shows you the different verses. So, for my strength is made perfect in weakness, is what it says there in 2 Corinthians 12:9. And that's what it is. When we die to the world and the world hates us, we resurrect and we start living unto God. So the more and more the world hates us, that's called bearing your cross. So the cross is the power. God, when he is working through you, it is the cross, and people will hate you because God is working through you, like they hated Jesus Christ. And we are one with Christ, so, and we're one together in Christ. Each of us are brothers who believe. So, and you can see it in these different verses here. So maybe you can pause and take a look at some of those verses that I've scanned by, so you can see some of those different contexts. All right, well, I hope this helps. All right, bye.